I'm Derry.
I'm Marshall.
And we've been living in Lyon, France for 6 months now. And today we wanted to talk to you guys about all the stuff we've learned about our new life here 6 months in.
And the things we wish we knew before we came here.
And the things we wish we knew before, for sure. So one of the happiest surprises that we've found over the last 6 months is the sense of community that we've gotten since we moved. I think whenever anybody moves to a new country, sometimes a new city, but definitely a new country, especially when there's a language barrier, I think it's almost a given that you're going to be lonely. And in all honesty, one of the most surprising things about living in Lyon for the last 6 months is how not lonely we are. And some of those people end up having real genuine friendships with. So you end up just making friends with definitely some French people, but a lot of international friends as well. So yeah, we're just a small little part of the American representation in Lyon. Belizean American representation.
Yeah, there's one of those.
Lyon.
There's one Belizean American.
There's one Belizean American
that we know about.
So yeah, so the sense of community is thriving in Lyon, and it's something that we really didn't expect, but we are absolutely loving. I think the other day in just a couple of weekends ago, people were setting up and there was an orchestra and it was playing ABBA, and there were drag queens singing to ABBA, and there were kids playing on the playground, and there was just the community just gathered, young and old, and they were dancing, and you just kind of you pass by doing errands, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of a community get together.
Yeah, drag show ABBA orchestra.
Yeah, it's which to me, I and I looked at that and I said, yeah, this feels right. I'm home, and it's just stuff that consistently happens, especially in the little village where we are. It's just those things happen all the time, and that's the community things. But then we go to class and we get together with our friends from school. I have really gotten into Pilates lately, and then you meet people at Pilates class, and you end up just really finding people and talking to different people from different places as well. I have to plug Le Petit Coin because I feel like they've just been there since day one, and if anything, that's where we get to practice our French and have some really good food. Mm-hmm. And Penelope gets lots of cheese and lots of hugs and a blanket to sit on. And people are genuinely friendly and kind. And I think that right there is exactly what we were looking for when we came to Lyon and when we made our move to France.
One of the things that I wish I knew before we came here is that the buses are actually great. In Florida, the buses are not great. There are not a whole lot of routes, so it's not very efficient to where you need to go. Once you get off the bus, you still have to walk in 150-degree heat. And we kind of carried that with us. And probably for 4 months, we didn't ever take a bus.
I don't know what the aversion was to the bus. But when I started taking the bus in Lyon, I was very pleasantly surprised, and mostly at how efficient it is. Mm-hmm. Pretty much you use a bus to go wherever you want here. And really the buses, they want you to take buses or the metro or walk, or they are very much, here in Lyon, they're very much wanting you to take other means of transportation as a velo which is the bike system here, or Marshall's favorite way of getting around is a trottinette or a scooter.
The stand-up electric scooters, which are widely disallowed in the United States for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, but here you can actually get on the sharing system if you don't have one of your own. And you can take a scooter downhill if you want, which for me is just kind of nuts. It is scary. Marshall loves it.
I love it.
No. I did that once and I said I'd never do it again.
I can talk forever about riding scooters around the city. So if that's something that you want to see a video on, comment below, and I'm happy to talk about insurance for it. Yes, that's mandatory, and speed limiting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, comment down below, and we'll put a video together on that.
But yeah, if you see Marshall around town, most likely he'll be on a little trottinette electrique. We do a lot more biking these days as well. That's the other thing that I never really knew would happen. We knew we'd be able to do a ride share, but we now are doing our own bikes to the point where even Penelope has her own little bike carriage, because we pretty much use the bikes, especially, whenever. Sometimes
Penelope has 2 bike carriages.
Yeah, she has 2 bike carriages. This is how much we're using bikes these days. It's actually not only a form of just transportation. Obviously, we use it to go on our picnics, but it's honestly like a really lovely way to spend a day if you want to do biking around the city. You can take your bike out for a couple hours and be on different parts of the city, and you'll see a lot of really interesting things. So we are really into biking now. Something that I never realized would happen before we got here, but yeah. Just because we do everything by bike or by trottinette or by just walking.
Just walking sometimes.
It doesn't mean that we don't do car things as well. We just do way less of it. And in fact, it's been 6 months. Yeah, it's been 6 months, and I have not driven a car in over 6 months now. Not since we sold our cars the day before we left.
It's been about an hour for me.
Yeah.
I just came back.
We don't use the car in town at all. We just don't, unless we go a little outside the town to do a major shopping trip, and that's maybe once every couple weeks.
Yeah,
not even. Weeks, yeah. Or if we need the car for something specific in town. Mostly we use our car to go out of town and do weekend trips, which there have been a couple so far. We have lots of little places we want to go, and even obviously outside of France as well. So we're very much looking forward to that, and possibly using our car a little bit more in the future to be able to go and visit some new things.
I'd like to say that I knew what the bureaucracy was going to be like in France before we came, and I'm always back and forth on this. So everybody always rolls their eyes and French bureaucracy, and I mean even the people here. I'm not just not just others, right? But I'm sort of 2 minds. On one hand, there's a lot of paperwork, and for example, I just got done with the bank setting up a bank account yesterday. They asked every question that possibly could be asked. I mean, in the United States, you go to the bank with $1,000 and you know your Social Security number, and they're happy to have you as a customer.
Welcome
Whereas
aboard.
I was literally asked, well, why do you want to open an account at our bank? So I didn't expect that question, right? And my answer was, well, you're number one, right? So that's why I want to open an account at your bank. But there was just a ton of paperwork to do. And I know there's probably a little bit more for me because I'm trying to open an account at a French bank as a non-French citizen. But it was sort of representative of what you'll have to go through. So on one hand, yes, lots of paperwork. They ask for everything. Having said that, everything has been faster than anticipated and more fluid than anticipated. And it's not a joke to say that if they ask you for 5 documents, bring them and then bring 10 others just in case they ask. But it's been very fluid, and it's been, I think the example that I like to use is the driver's license swap. They told me it would take 8 months to do the swap, and 5 weeks later, the licenses were swapped out. So there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy. You're required to provide a lot of things. It's when you walk into an establishment to try to get something done, you are asking nicely the person on the other side of the counter to do it. You are not commanding the situation as in the US, where you're like, look, I'm the customer. I'm always right. Or this is that interaction, that feel doesn't exist.
Yeah, just don't do that kind of interaction.
Yeah, don't do
any
that.
place
Be nice.
in France. It's not going to be taken well.
So bureaucracy, there's a lot of it, yes. But it's pretty fluid, it's pretty efficient, and it's more and more becoming digitized, and you can perform a lot of it online now.
Yeah.
I don't want to say pro tip, but 2 items that have been extremely, extremely useful to me, and I didn't get them because of these types of processes, it's just the sort of the way that I like to do paperwork, is within the first couple of weeks I had gotten a scanner and I'd gotten a laser printer. and I know it's like it's a little bit of a splurge to get those kinds of items. If you don't have those things, you have to go find a place to print them or get copies made, and it's so much easier. So if you're serious about getting your paperwork done quickly, maybe invest in a printer and a scanner.
Good tip. So since we moved here in early April, since we moved here in early April, we've been able to experience spring, summer, and now that we're getting into October, a little bit of fall.
A lot of fall.
A lot of fall. We realized that in the spring, it almost seems like as we arrived, Lyon was kind of falling, like waking up, but it was the most beautiful weather. The weather was crisp and clear and not a lot of rain, and we were just, kind of getting used to everything. June, July, it felt like there was always some sort of community event and community, getting people out of their houses and just onto the streets. And it's so interesting to watch it. One of my favorite weekends was Fête de la Musique weekend, and this is something I think everybody kind of knows of it in Paris, but this is really something that is done all around France, and so Lyon is no different. And basically, what it is just every square and every area is just dedicated to music of all sorts. Kind of just go around all the different parts of Lyon and listen to music and listen to DJs and listen to, people with drums. I think that was one of my favorites. Was there's this drumming, this like almost like a Brazilian drum group, and it was so good. I had too much of a good time that day. It was just one of those really fun days. The whole community, everybody's out. Everybody is out, and they're singing and they're dancing and they're just having a good time. And it honestly feels like a really great start to the summer. So it's definitely one of my favorite things that I can't wait for next year. Also in the spring as well, June of course, is Pride Month, and they have a Pride festival. It's smaller than what I've seen before, but there's a really good little parade. We were there for the ending of the parade, and Our friend of ours walked us to where a big celebration afterwards, and that was just so much fun as well.
And what month was it? So there's the and then in July maybe.
Yeah,
Or
it's
I
for
don't
the
remember
summer, so I think it's June, July, and August.
They have outdoor performances. So the place where there used to be a stage back 2,000 years ago, there's now a stage again.
Another stage for the summer.
But with big speakers and amps, and then they turn that into a music venue.
It's really just lovely how Lyon has taken things of history, and you get to kind of use them still to this day. In August, the whole city shuts down.
Yeah.
If I were to tell anybody one thing, if you're planning to visit Lyon, don't come in August. You won't find anything open, really. It is very much, yeah, it's a ghost town. You're just going to see nothing but people basically saying that they're en vacances. And they're usually gone for either a month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks, maybe at minimum.
If they're unlucky, 2 weeks.
Yeah, and if they're unlucky, 2 weeks. And they're just closed down. And to the point where in August, I think our metro wasn't running for a good 2 weeks, either for servicing or what have you.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
That's when they'll plan some of the services.
Yeah.
If they need to do an annual
Yeah.
maintenance, it'll happen during August because there's less people using the service.
In August, that's where you're going to see a lot of the crews come out, and you're not going to be able to pass on a road or sidewalk or what have you. But of course, most people in Lyon are on vacation at that point. So as we reflect on our last 6 months, I think we are just filled with gratitude of being here, and really that we just happened to land in one of the best spots that we believe in France. We absolutely adore Lyon. We absolutely adore people here that we've met, and we are so thankful for the experience and so thankful for all the new experiences that we're having.
And everything that fell into place to let it happen.
Oh my gosh! Sometimes it was just kismet, because again, we could have been in Lille right now. We were honestly before Lyon, we were actually planning on moving to Lille. We're gonna pop a little champagne. We're going to raise a toast and how thankful we are for the last 6 months and all the experiences that we've had. So here's a toast to that Airbnb in Lille falling through, because I think if that didn't happen, we wouldn't be as happy as we are in Lyon.
And a toast for everybody watching that's somehow, for some reason, happy to listen to us drone on.
For some reason,
about our life. So thanks to you, and thanks to that Airbnb host that canceled our Airbnb in Lille.
Cheers. We'll see you soon on our next episode, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.